Chapter 41 No, Where is my elder brother? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, the role of the refining Dao Master has reached 45%, and you will be rewarded with 100,000 yuanshare and a goo worm gift pack, 10, that contains between 2 to 4 goo worms. Do you want to accept the reward? Ming glanced at the rewards, and decided to hold off for now. He then focused on the people in front of him. From what the one-eyed guy said, Ming knew these were evil soul masters who'd escaped Slaughter City, and as for the one-eyed man offering to let him leave. Yeah, right, Ming was sure the moment he turned his back, the one-eyed freak would attack without a second thought. And even if they got what they wanted, they'd still come after him. Soul masters from Slaughter City were warped and evil to the core. They were worse than your run-of-the-mill demonic cultivators. They were just scum, with no values or a shred of humanity left. The one-eyed man, acting like Ming wasn't even there, hurried over to Meng Yuran and ripped away what was left of her clothes, exposing a lot of bare skin. No. Please, no. Tears streamed down Meng Yuran's face as she tried to cover herself. Watching from the valley entrance, Chao Tianxiang's eyes blazed with anger. She frantically poured all her energy into her soul skills, trying to break through the blockade, but the dwarf and the effeminate guy teamed up, overpowering her completely. Without Lord Long, she was just a regular soul emperor. She was no match for these evil soul masters hardened by the horrors of Slaughter City. Hold on, Grandma, hold on, the dwarf grinned, a nasty gleam in his eyes. Looks like you still got it going on. He glanced at his boss, rubbed his hands together, and told the other guy, hey, second, grab her. I can't take it anymore. Meanwhile, Meng Yuran stared at the approaching one-eyed man, her eyes filled with despair. In her final moments, she remembered kissing Tang San when they first met. A flicker of resolve appeared in her eyes. I'd rather die than let this animal have his way. She thought. The one-eyed man, drooling as he gazed at the delicate Meng Yuran, was just about to pounce, but then, he suddenly shifted gears, lunging past her and charging straight at Ming, claws extended. At the same time, his fifth black soul ring flared, and his hands swelled up, turning into a pair of massive tiger claws. Fifth soul skill, Tiger on the Prowl. This sudden change left Meng Yuran, who had been about to end her own life, dumbfounded. Been waiting for you. A gust of cold wind swept past as Ming's body suddenly took on a jade-like sheen. Countless moon-colored ribbons wrapped around him. And a bubble-like layer of water appeared around him. These were his second-tier defensive goo worms, white jade goo, moon rainbow goo, and water shield goo. Right now, defensive goo worms were his specialty. Die. The one-eyed man reached him, his tiger claws slamming into the water shield. The shield shattered instantly, but the claws had already lost most of their power. They couldn't even break through the moon rainbow goo's ribbon defenses, much less the white jade goo. What the? The one-eyed man's eyes widened as he stared at Ming, completely unharmed. He tried to change his attack, but then he saw the dark golden hammer in Ming's hand coming straight for him. Ming's eyes narrowed, and his first and second 1,000-year soul rings lit up with a brilliant purple glow. Behind him, two hulking dark golden fear claw bear phantoms appeared, each wielding a clear sky hammer. First soul skill, Dark Golden Giant Hammer. Second soul skill, Dark Golden Giant Hammer. Boom! The clear sky hammer, charged with immense power, slammed into the one-eyed man's chest while he was still stunned, sending him flying backward. The one-eyed man could barely believe what was happening, but then he saw the two giant figures swinging their hammers again. Damn it! He cursed as his 4,000-year soul ring glowed, and a layer of yellow fur sprouted all over his body. Boom! The smaller fear claw bear phantom's hammer came down, and the one-eyed man managed to block it with his tiger claws. Ha! He roared, using the force of the blow to shatter the little phantom. But then the larger fear claw bear phantom came at him. What kind of messed up soul rings are these? What kind of messed up soul skills? The one-eyed man's insides were churning, and his face went pale. As he was struggling against the fear claw bear phantom, Ming stealthily moved to his side. Clear sky hammer, chaos cloak. Boom! The first hammer struck, and the one-eyed man felt like he'd been hit by some ancient beast. The constant pounding made him cough up blood. Ming was a master of combat, and he now had the situation firmly under control. Even back when he only had 2 soul rings, he could defeat Tang Tian, the top disciple of the Clear Sky sect, using his soul master skills alone. Now that he was level 50, he was unleashing his goo worms to fight. Was taking down a soul saint tough? Sure, but once the guy faltered and Ming started dominating, there was no way he could turn the tide. Everyone in the Clear Sky sect knew about the Chaos Cloak Hammer technique, but few could actually use it well. Ming, with his heightened combat skills, knew how to accumulate power, stacking the force of each Clear Sky hammer blow. The second hammer landed. The tiger fur on the one-eyed man was shattered, and his defenses were broken. The fifth hammer. It slammed into his chest, sending him staggering back 5 or 6 steps, spitting blood. The one-eyed man had survived in Slaughter City for a long time. He fought through the pain, putting some distance between himself and Ming. Seizing this opportunity, his 7th, pitch-black soul ring blazed with light. Martial soul true body, he roared as his body began to transform into a multicolored tiger. Whoosh, but at that moment, the moonlight under Ming's feet shimmered, and he appeared next to the one-eyed man in a flash. The Baoyue goo on the back of his head pulsed, tripling the power of all his moon Dao goo worms. A foot-long, dark blue moon blade appeared in Ming's hand, slashing at the one-eyed man as he was transforming into his martial soul true body. Crack! Crack! With a couple of soft sounds, the dark blue moon blade instantly sliced through the one-eyed man's body protection soul power, then sliced across his face. Ugh! The one-eyed man's eyes widened, and he clutched his neck, choking out, You. Dual martial souls. Before he could finish, his body split in 2 and collapsed. Silence descended. Meng Yiran sat on the ground, eyes wide, not even noticing that the last scraps of cloth had fallen off her. She couldn't believe that after just a few days, this Clear Sky sect disciple, who was just a touring soul master, had actually killed a soul saint. Remembering his cold words from earlier, Meng Yiran felt like it was the aura of a true powerhouse. Her whole attitude changed after seeing Ming's power. In truth, the fight had only lasted a few minutes. Seeing their boss fighting a mere 4-ring soul sect, the one-eyed man's goons hadn't been too concerned. A soul saint fighting a little soul sect kid. How could that be a challenge? They had already captured Chao Tianxiang, and the dwarf couldn't wait to get his hands on her, beginning to tear her clothes. Boss! Boss! The effeminate man's shouts made the dwarf jump and deflate. He turned and stared, his face filled with disbelief. No. Where's my boss? Chapter 42, Lord Long takes action. Bibi Dong raises the stakes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Damn it, big brother. The dwarf roared, seeing his older brother cleaved in 2, he scrambled to pull up his pants, glaring at Ming in the distance. Knowing this guy could kill his soul saint brother made the dwarf nervous. He looked at the effeminate man next to him, grabbed the old woman, Chao Tianxiang, from the ground, and held a blade to her throat. Listen up, kid, I know you know her. He snarled. Let us go now, and she lives. Otherwise, we'll fight to the death, and you won't like how it ends. You can't kill us all before your soul power runs out. That the others huddled around the dwarf and the hostage, eyes fixed on Ming. With their leader dead, revenge was the last thing on their minds. They were killers from the city of slaughter, friendship meant nothing. They'd only followed the one-eyed man for his strength. Now, Ming had effortlessly killed a soul saint. They knew he could easily wipe them out. TSK, Ming said, a smirk playing on his lips. Why would I let you go just because you grabbed her? The men looked at each other, stunned. Meng Yiran, who was sitting on the ground, jumped up, pleading with Ming. Please, save my grandma. I'll do anything you want. Ignoring the exposed skin at her chest, Meng Yiran grabbed Ming's arm, shaking it desperately, trying to get his pity. Humph. Ming scoffed, brushing her off without a second glance, sending her sprawling to the ground. He looked down at her coldly. Save her. Why bother? Just because you've got some curves. Tears welled in Meng Yiran's eyes as she lay on the ground, lashing out. Aren't you a disciple of the Haotian sect? How can you just stand by and watch someone die? Don't you care about the reputation of the three sects? Ha ha ha. Yi Ming laughed, watching his enemies edging backward. What do I care about any of that? Channeling his soul power, a pair of dark blue wings crackling with electricity sprouted from his back. With a powerful beat, Yi Ming soared into the air, ready to leave. 3 lives martial soul. The effeminate man's eyes widened, and he retreated, melting into the crowd. He'd just seen Yi Ming use the Haotian hammer and the moon blade. Now he had wings. He wanted no part of that fight. Seeing that Yi Ming was leaving, he breathed a sigh of relief, but Meng Yiran's words cut through the silence. Seeing Yi Ming fly away, she knew she and her grandmother were doomed. If my grandmother dies, you won't get away with this. She screamed, her eyes burning with hate. My grandfather is the sole Douluo dragon lord, Meng Shu. He'll hunt you down. Yi Ming paused mid-air and chuckled. Oh. Now that's something to consider. Meng Yiran's eyes lit up, and she smoothed her hair back. Saving us would be worth your while, she said, looking up at him. Too bad I'm not interested. Yi Ming sneered, flipped his hand, and a dark blue moon blade flashed across Meng Yiran's neck, separating her head from her body. She was dead. After doing all this, Yi Ming heard something in the distance and beat his dark blue wings again, flying deeper into the forest. Yi ran. Chao Tianxiang's eyes were wide with horror, her face a mask of wrinkles trembling in grief. The dwarf holding her was terrified. Shut up. He hissed, pulling out a dagger and plunging it into Chao Tianxiang's neck. Blood spurted out, splattering his face, calming his panicked heart. Scream and that psycho might come back. Disgusted, the dwarf shoved Chao Tianxiang to the ground, then scrambled to his fallen leader's body, grabbed the soul guide, and fled the valley, the effeminate man right behind him. They just heard the girl mention a soul Douluo grandfather nearby. Moments after the group bolted from the valley, an old man with a dragon staff in one hand and an unconscious human-faced demon spider in the other, dropped from the valley's edge. Seeing his granddaughter and Chao Tianxiang's lifeless bodies, he froze, stunned. He ran. My darling. He threw the human-faced demon spider aside and rushed to Chao Tianxiang, eyes bloodshot, muttering in disbelief. No, this can't be happening. Meng Shu glanced around and spotted the one-eyed man's body, neatly cut in half. At the valley's entrance, trampled weeds marked a path leading away. Whoever did this will pay with their life. Meng Shu stored Meng Yiran and Chao Tianxiang's bodies in his soul guide, and 8 soul rings, 2 yellow, 3 purple, and 3 black, shimmered into existence around him. He took off in a burst of speed, following the trail outside the valley. In less than 15 minutes, he caught up with a short man barely 5 feet tall. With a single strike, Meng Shu sent the man flying, then pinned him to the ground. The dragon staff pressed against the short man's throat. Meng Shu asked, his voice like ice, who else was with you? He could smell the poison, traces of his wife's soul skills, clinging to the short man. Terrified, the short man stammered, Master Contra, it wasn't me. It was a really handsome disciple from the Haotian sect. He killed your granddaughter. Papal Palace. Bibi Dong set down her teacup, listening intently to the cardinal's report. In the attack on the 7 Treasures glazed sect, we sent 10,000 soul masters and killed over 2,000 disciples. But Ning Fengji, Sword Douluo, and Bone Douluo fought back fiercely, and we lost 4,000 soul masters. We sent over 8,000 men to surprise the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. We lost 3,000 men, and the 9th elder died along with the family leader. The blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family has been completely wiped out. Bibi Dong rose and paced the hall. So, I struck 3 blows, and lost over 7,000 people. After a moment, Bibi Dong stopped and asked, have we heard anything from Ju Douluo and Ghost Douluo? They've been in the Star Do forest for quite some time. The cardinal replied nervously, not yet. The Star Do forest is vast, so it will take the 2 adults time to search. Bibi Dong nodded. Order the troops to monitor the movements of the remnants of the Tiendo Empire and the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. And send Elephant Douluo and Snake Spear Douluo to the Star Do Forest. They will assist Ju Douluo and Ghost Douluo in capturing that rabbit. Yes. After hurrying away, Ming moved deeper into the Star Do Forest. As he traveled further, he stopped flying, not wanting to attract the attention of some powerful soul beasts. As darkness fell, he found a hollow in a tree to rest. The time for Xiao Wu's sacrifice must be close. I need to go into the core area tomorrow. Sitting cross-legged in the tree hole, Ming thought, but first, time to see the goo worms I've been rewarded. I hope they're good. The performance level of Master Liandao reaches 45%, and he will be rewarded with 100,000 yuan stones and a large gift pack of 2 to 4 goo worms, 10 pieces. After Ming saw the system rewards, he clicked to receive them. Essential stones have been distributed to the system storage space, and the 2-4th turn goo insect spree is open. Obtain a second-level goo insect, shattering moon goo. Obtain a second-level goo insect purifying water goo. Obtain a third-level goo insect to control the beast goo. Obtain a third-level goo worm little bear biscuit goo, RSCS goo. Get. Chapter 43 Bear Cookies. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Obtained a second-level goo worm, broken moon goo. Obtained a second-level goo worm, water purification goo. Obtained a third-level goo worm, beast taming goo. Obtained a third-level goo worm, little bear biscuit goo. Ming's heart skipped a beat. Only 2 second-level goo. This time is gonna be huge. That he remembered how the system info went from low to high in the last big score. He lingered on the little bear biscuit goo, then checked the rest. Obtained a third-level goo worm, silver relic goo. Obtained a third-level goo worm, silver relic goo. Obtained a third-level goo worm, silver relic goo. Ming was floored. He scrolled back and forth to make sure the system hadn't glitched, and a huge smile spread across his face. Holy crap. 3 silver relic goo. Jackpot. Does this mean I can use all 3 when I hit the 3rd turn and instantly reach the peak? Ming stroked his chin, picturing Gu Yufanyuan's dominance with the blood curtain skyflower goo on Qingmao Mountain. At the peak of the 3rd turn, who's gonna mess with me? Who can mess with me? With these, I'm practically there already. Ming glanced at the last 3 rewards, and his jaw dropped. Obtained a 4th turn consumable goo worm, footless bird. Obtained a 4th turn consumable goo worm, footless bird. Obtained a 4th turn consumable goo worm, footless bird. Seriously? What the heck, system? Ming's eyes bugged out. Why 3 footless birds? For giggles, the system, of course, remained silent. As he griped, the colorful goo worms appeared in the tree hole. Despite his complaints, Ming quickly refined them all, including the footless birds, and stored them away. Among them, the second-level shattering moon goo was an offensive type that could launch hundreds of thumb-sized moon blades simultaneously, reaching up to 300 feet. It finally gave him some much-needed group attack power. The second-level water purification goo could purify any funky energy in his aperture. The third-level beast taming goo was a slave type that could control wild beasts at the level of a king of beasts. The third-level silver relic goo could boost a third-level goo master by 1 subrealm without any nasty side effects, and the 4th-level footless birds. Well, enough said. Honestly, this haul was amazing. He'd totally lucked out. But Ming was most conflicted about the third-level little bear biscuit goo in his hand. It looked like a black spider with furry tentacles. It had a bear's head and a blood-red pattern on its back depicting the vivid face of a girl. The face seemed to smile, cry, and stare at Ming, filled with hatred and resentment. Looking at it, a flicker of doubt crossed his usually calm eyes. This was a magical goo worm, a consumable one that could force a second-level goo master to break through to the 3rd. No worries about aptitude or insufficient true essence. He was already at the peak of the 2nd level. Using this goo would instantly level him up to the 3rd. Then, after using the 3 silver relic goo, he could immediately reach the peak of the 3rd level. Gu Yufang Yuan used this insect because he only had a C-grade aptitude, and his true essence pool wasn't strong enough to break through on its own. He had to use the goo to brute force his way through, but Yi Ming was at the peak of the second level and had upgraded his aptitude to B grade. With a little time, he could definitely break through naturally and reach the initial stage of the third level, so, the question was, did he want to use this insect to skip the wait? After a moment, he grinned. Time is the one thing I don't have enough of. Besides, if Fang Yuan could stomach it, so can I. Without hesitation, he opened his mouth and swallowed the little bear biscuit goo whole. It slithered down his throat, burrowed into his esophagus, and instantly turned into a stream of black and red liquid. The flow surged downwards, like a reversed river in the sky, straight towards his aperture. Once inside, the black and red liquid merged into his true essence C, staining it a bizarre black and red and filling it with a bloody smell. Then, a massive wave erupted, shattering the void wall, the white crystal wall cracked, and a new, brighter membrane appeared. He had entered the third turn. Yi Ming didn't relax. He immediately purged the black and red true essence from his body. He couldn't use that stuff. It would kill any goo worms he tried to activate and, over time, would pollute the void wall and lower his aptitude. Once the black and red true essence was gone, Yi Ming grabbed a yuan stone and started restoring his true essence. The first wisp of white true essence appeared, and he used it to activate the heavenly essence treasure lotus. Soon, wisps of silver true essence slowly grew until they filled the entire sea, but there was still a faint layer of black and red left, so Yi Ming activated the second turn water purification goo to completely purify it. From then on, he had entered the third transformation without any lingering issues. It was midnight, and he still had plenty of time, so Yi Ming went ahead and activated the silver relic goo to level up his goo master cultivation. 3 silver relic goo were enough to take him from the initial stage of the third level to the peak. Relic goo are super useful in the goo world. From the first level bronze relic goo to the 5th level purple crystal relic goo, they can boost a goo master's cultivation within the corresponding level without any side effects. The highest level of relic goo is only the 5th, there's no relic goo for the 6th level, the immortal realm. In theory, if you had enough relic goo, a first level goo master could rapidly climb to the peak of the 5th level. The only issues are the goo master's control not keeping up and the difficulty of finding enough relic goo. After all, the ingredients for refining relic goo are super rare, needing longevity goo and other top-tier materials. If the system hadn't gone crazy this time, handing out identical goo worms like a broken record, who knows when he could have reached the peak of the third level. A silver relic goo shattered in his aperture, turning into pure true essence and merging into his being. In the center of the star forest, a small lake reflected the towering trees under the moonlight, creating a sparkling, charming scene. Next to this idyllic view, a massive figure crouched quietly. It was a mountain of a creature, its dark fur shimmering faintly in the dim light. Though it stood on all fours, its shoulders were over 20 feet high. If it stood upright, it might be close to 50. It resembled a giant ape or chimpanzee, but with a pair of lantern-sized eyes that glowed with a yellow crystal-like light. The rest of it was pitch black. A delicate figure sat on its shoulder, her white dress flowed to her feet, and her face was as delicate as an elf's. Her black hair cascaded from her back onto the giant ape's shoulders. She murmured to the huge creature with a snake body and a bull's head that emerged from the lake, "Daming, they're here. Do you think third brother will come? I miss him so much, but I don't want him to show up now. Sorry, I fell asleep last night and didn't set a scheduled release. Sorry, everyone, and I hope you will read it tomorrow." Chapter 44. Then I leave. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Whoa. Inside the tree hollow, Yi Ming let out a long, slow breath. 77% of his core energy had been transformed into top-tier, level 3 snow silver essence. He'd burned through 3 silver relic goo in a single night, rocketing him to the peak of rank 3. It was already dark out. Yi Ming stepped out of the hollow and stretched. Thanks to the 100 Souls Foundation, he'd quickly mastered his new strength. Now that I'm at rank 3, rank 2 goo worms just won't cut it. I'll have to make do for now. Once this is over, I can work on upgrading them all at once. That Yi Ming peered into the depths of the forest. Time's running out. Gotta get to the inner circle, ASAP. If I don't, I'm gonna miss the whole thing. He made up his mind and started heading straight for the core. The Star Do forest was vast, and even the core was huge. All Yi Ming knew was that there was a small lake at the forest's heart, home to Xiao Wu, De Ming, and Ming. That's exactly where Yu Guan and the others were headed. He didn't bother with directions, just headed toward the center. On the way, he ran into a few 10,000-year soul beasts roaming the outer edges, but he took them down without breaking a sweat. Too bad none of them were over 50,000 years old, or matched the clear sky hammer's attributes. Undeterred, Yi Ming pressed on. The closer he got to the core, the fewer soul beasts he saw. After a while, he didn't see any at all. Must be getting close. Yi Ming knew that the 100,000-year soul beasts had their own territory. Other soul beasts wouldn't dare wander in. At the heart of the forest, by a small lake, Xiao Wu faced the group of people with a calm demeanor, calmly saying to the two titled Douluo, "You've been after me for a while. Let's finish this, today." As soon as she said that, the Titan giant ape beside her stood tall. From the small lake behind her, a giant cyan bull python rose from the water and stared at the group with burning eyes. Yu Guan and Gue Mei's expressions changed instantly. They thought only a juvenile transformed rabbit lived in the star forest. They never imagined two massive 100,000-year soul beasts were here too. But there was no turning back now. "Old ghost, we'll hold off these 200,000-year soul beasts. Holy maiden, lead the team and catch that rabbit." 9 soul rings appeared around Yu Guan, and a giant chrysanthemum rose from under his feet as he charged the Titan ape. The ghostly figure cloaked in black also attacked the azure bull python in the lake. The Titan giant ape and the azure bull python were unimpressed. Titled Douluo at this level were barely a challenge. The azure bull python unleashed its slowness field, immediately slowing the ghost's movements. "Second brother, kill them all, leave no one alive." With that, the azure bull python's tail emerged from the lake and whipped toward the ghost. As they clashed, Tang San, hidden in the crowd, tapped Xiaoyu, who was about to use his soul skill, on his Tanzhong acupoint. Xiaoyu was Huliana's brother, so Tang San spared him. He caught the unconscious Xiaoyu and focused his gaze on the 6 soul saints in front of him. Whoosh, Zimu's soul-chasing courage exploded in the crowd, tearing through their protective soul power and killing him instantly. "What are you doing?" Huliana screamed from the crowd. Tang San acted as if he didn't hear her and tossed Xiaoyu toward Huliana. At the same time, the 8 spider spears emerged from his back and propelled him into the air. In his left hand, blue silver grass shot out and wrapped around the waist of Xiao Wu, who jumped off the Titan ape's shoulder. In mid-air, Tang San and Xiao Wu locked eyes. Even with his changed appearance, the 8 spider spears and blue silver grass instantly revealed his identity to Xiao Wu. "Brother." Xiao Wu let the blue silver grass wrap around her waist, and Tang San pulled her in, embracing her tightly. With Xiao Wu in his arms, he used the 8 spider spears to bounce off the surrounding trees, fleeing into the distance. Tang San had a plan, and he executed it perfectly. As he fled with Xiao Wu, the Soul Saints and Huliana finally realized what was happening. Blue silver grass, 8 spider spears. "It's Tang San. Hurry, catch them." Huliana screamed, clutching Xiaoyu. Shocked to her core, the 5 agile attack Soul Saints moved first, breaking away from the group and chasing Tang San. Yan cursed under his breath and led the remaining Soul Saints in pursuit. Seeing this, the Titan giant ape and azure bull python used their respective powers to subdue Yu Guan and the ghost. Final move. The ghost's figure flickered, rushing toward Yu Guan. Martial soul fusion skill. Gold and silver intertwined, the static fields of the 2 instruments expanding into golden and silver rings, instantly restraining the Titan giant ape and the azure bull python. The titled Douluo level martial soul fusion skill could even hold off the Titan giant ape and azure bull python. That said, Yu Guan and Gue Mei had to maintain their realm and couldn't use soul skills. If a few more titled Douluo showed up, De Ming and Ming would be seriously injured, or even killed. Meanwhile, Tang San embraced Xiao Wu, desperately using the blue-silver emperor's right leg bone to fly through the trees. He didn't dare fly into the sky, or he'd be an easy target for other soul beasts. Just then, a rush of wind came from behind. The 5 agile attack soul saints were closing in. Tang San glanced back, his purple demon eyes flashing. and unleashed a burst of mental energy directly at the leader. The Soul Saint screamed and passed out. The other 4 agile attack Soul Saints were shocked but continued the chase at full speed. "We have to deal with these guys, or we're not getting away." Tang San told Xiao Wu, "I'll take out 2, then you carry me." Xiao Wu nodded. "Let's show them what the 3-5 combo can do." Tang San channeled his soul power, and 2 more silver needles appeared in his hand, the Tang Sec's ultimate hidden weapon, the King of Hell's Post. He'd only made 3 to begin with. He used 1 to kill Shernyen. These were the last 2. Mysterious Jade Hand, Crane Control, Dragon Capture, and Mysterious Heaven Skill, all active. Swish, 2 silver needles pierced the heads of 2 Soul Saints. Xiao Wu's soul ring shimmered, and she instantly appeared behind one of the Soul Saints. Charm. Explosive Killing 8 Section Throw. She took control of the last 2 Soul Saints. Then she pulled Tang San closer with the blue-silver grass around her waist, and the 8 spider spears pierced the heads of the 2 Soul Saints. Even after so long, they worked together seamlessly, but Tang San's soul power was already down over 70%, and he was starting to feel weak. Xiao Wu supported Tang San and rushed off into the distance. Just as they thought they were in the clear, a green net fell from the sky, blocking their path. Behind the net was a 30,000-year-old man-faced demon spider. Tang San's heart sank. Of course, I'd run into the man-faced demon spider now. Is this karma? As they were trapped, Yen surged with flames and came charging in with 8 Soul Saints. Tang San, you can't escape. Tang San was almost out of hope when a strange light flickered in Xiao Wu's eyes. Boom. A dark golden Haotian hammer fell from the sky and smashed directly into the man-faced demon spider's head. The spider's brain exploded, and a black 10,000-year soul ring slowly rose. Tang San looked up and saw Yi Ming jumping off the spider, holding the dark golden Haotian hammer. Purple, purple, black, black, 4 strange and terrifying soul rings flashed around him. "Brother Yi Ming!" Tang San exclaimed, surprised. "What are you doing here?" Yi Ming walked over to Tang San and teased, "What's wrong? San, you don't seem too happy to see me. Should I just go?" Chapter 45, The Killer Move. Ors, please read this and go for the second round. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seriously? What are you talking about? Of course, I'm happy to see you. Tang San chuckled, but his expression turned serious as he took in the situation. Seeing Yen charging toward them with 8 Soul Saints, he urgently yelled to Yi Ming, "Get out of here. Now. You can't handle them." The disciple competition was barely 2 weeks ago, and Yi Ming's jump to the 4th ring had already blown him away, but even if he could take on 1 Soul Saint, what could he do against 8? His own soul power was practically drained by the King of Hell's Post, and he couldn't endure a high-intensity fight. Tang San staggered to his feet and stood protectively in front of Xiao Wu and Yi Ming. "Yi Ming, I need a favor. Take care of Xiao Wu for me." As he spoke, the blue-silver grass in his right hand swayed rhythmically, and 5 soul rings appeared around him, yellow, yellow, purple, black, and black. Xiao Wu looked at Tang San with affection, already bracing herself. Yen, wreathed in flames, charged in with 8 Soul Saints. Spotting Tang San and his friends, he immediately ordered the Soul Saints to attack. Just then, Yi Ming stepped forward, shielding Tang San and Xiao Wu once more. "I'm getting you out of here." He frantically channeled 70% of his 7 Snow Silver True Essence from his Sea of True Essence. Second turn Goo Worm, Broken Moon Goo. Third turn Goo Worm, Thunder Wing Goo. Third turn Goo Worm, Wind Moon Will Goo. Third turn Goo Worm, Treasure Moon Goo. Killing move, Thunder Moon Storm. Swish. 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 Like a meteor, Yi Ming crashed into the enemy's ranks, unleashing hundreds of palm-sized, dark blue moon blades laced with lightning, engulfing a 300-meter radius. Defend. Now. Yen roared, using his soul skills to frantically control fire and earth, trying to block the moon blades. But it was useless. The lightning-infused moon blades danced through the 9 people, shredding their protective soul power like paper. The Soul Saints reacted quickly, unleashing their strongest defensive soul skills, but as the lightning moon blades approached, they felt despair. Their defensive skills could block 1, 2, maybe dozens, but there were hundreds, thousands. These lightning moon blades tore through armor like nothing. They couldn't block them all. Ack! Help! The air filled with screams from within the storm of lightning and moon blades, flesh and blood flew everywhere. Within 300 meters, every blade of grass, every tree, and everyone was cut to ribbons by the moon blades. The storm raged for 10 breaths. When the thunder moon storm finally subsided, Ming was the only one left standing within 300 meters. Wow! Tang San swallowed hard, Xiao Wu's jaw dropped, and it took her a while to recover. Bro, who is this guy? He's insane. He's my cousin. Tang San said proudly, I met him when I went to the Clear Sky sect. A real stand-up guy, but he was also a little bewildered. Last time we met, he took down a Soul King when he was just a touring Great Soul Master. It's only been 3 weeks since then, and he's already gone from Great Soul Master to Soul Sect. His strength is unreal, Xiao Wu gasped. 3 weeks, and he leveled up from a Great Soul Master to a Soul Sect. Could he be a 100,000-year soul beast in disguise, too? But even then, it shouldn't be possible. At that, Tang San went quiet, then pointed to his eyes and grinned. I can tell he isn't. He has the Clear Sky Hammer martial soul and is a genuine inner disciple of the Clear Sky sect. Xiao Wu nodded thoughtfully. Meanwhile, Ming, at the center of the storm, felt his legs buckle and collapsed. Bro! Tang San startled and activated Ghost Shadow, covering the 300 meters in a flash and reaching Ming's side. Bro, you okay? You hurt? Ignoring the blood and gore on the ground, he reached out to help Ming. My soul powers tapped out, Ming said weakly, opening his eyes. I'm done for a while. This self-made soul skill. I'm still pushing it too hard. With that, Ming's eyes rolled back, and he slumped against Tang San. Tang San hoisted Ming onto his back. Thanks, man. He muttered, turning to Xiao Wu, he said, my cousin's out cold. We gotta move, now. Hu Liena and Xie are probably on their way. Xiao Wu nodded, agreeing, and followed Tang San as they ran into the forest. She was relieved. Just a minute ago, she had been ready to throw herself on the grenade for Tang San. Then, out of nowhere, his cousin showed up like a superhero, first killing the 10,000-year human-faced demon spider, and then wiping out 8 Soul Saints and the Soul King Yan with his soul skill. He got them out of a jam. Xiao Wu glanced at Ming, gratitude in her eyes, then stayed close to Tang San as they bolted. She wasn't worried about Ming and Ming, with Ju Douluo and Ghost Douluo on their tail, they were in good hands. A little more time, and Ming and Ming would deal with those guys and be here, then they'd be totally safe. Meanwhile, Ming, slung over Tang San's back, was checking things out with his eyes barely open. Once he was sure the coast was clear, he relaxed and enjoyed the ride, combining several kinds of goo worms into a killing move unleashed way more combat power than usual. Ever since he had acquired the goo worms, Ming had been thinking about his own killing move. He had the basic idea in his head, and after getting the treasure moon goo and shattered moon goo, he had a complete plan. It wasn't until he reached the peak of the 3rd turn that he barely had enough true essence to pull it off. What he had told Tang San wasn't a lie. After unleashing the Thunder Moon Storm, his true essence was practically empty. But his soul power wasn't hurt at all, and with the Tianyuan treasure lotus on his side, it would only take a little while to get his true essence back. Ming thought to himself, I'm gonna help them out of this mess. Xiao Wu can't sacrifice herself, right? Of course, he wasn't just being nice, saving these two out of the goodness of his heart. In the current Douluo continent, the easiest way to get a 100,000-year soul ring was Xiao Wu, the 100,000-year soul beast who transformed into a human. Xiao Wu, who transformed into a human when she was a kid, was only a soul emperor now. She'd be a lot easier to deal with than big guys like the Titan Giant Ape and Azure Bull Python. What bugged him was the timing. With Ming's current physical condition, his fifth soul ring couldn't handle the energy of a 100,000-year soul ring, even though his goo master cultivation had reached the peak of the third turn. His physical strength hadn't improved that much. 100,000 years was a whole nother level. Right now, he couldn't make that jump, so he couldn't let Xiao Wu go down. Tang San had spent almost 6 years bringing her back. By the time that happened, he would have finished the Secret Realm mission. He was totally jealous of the invincible golden body and teleportation skills, and he wasn't about to miss that chance. When he needed to absorb his sixth soul ring, he'd be confident he could handle the 100,000-year soul ring. He'd build a good relationship with Tang San now, and when the time came, he'd have first dibs, right? Chapter 46 Sacrifice. Ors beg you to read it, and go for the second round. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The situation took a sudden turn. Tang San, still carrying Yi Ming, froze, his face twisting like he'd swallowed something nasty. His blue-silver domain, constantly scanning the forest with his mental power, had just picked up 2 new presences. 2 more title Douluo. He set Yi Ming down. Take my brother and get out of here. 2 title Douluo are headed this way. I'll hold them off. What? Xiao Wu's voice was filled with panic. She looked at Tang San and saw unwavering resolve in his eyes. Her heart skipped a beat. She knew Tang San couldn't possibly stand against title Douluo. He was sacrificing himself for them to escape. Xiao Wu smiled sadly, took Tang San's hand. I'm not leaving you this time. The wind picked up in the woods as 2 figures descended from above. Ha ha ha. You want to stay together? We're happy to oblige. The thorny porpoise and snake spear Douluo landed, hands clasped behind their backs, their faces lit with excitement as they gazed at Xiao Wu. I don't know what Chrysanthemum and Old Ghost were doing, but they handed us this opportunity on a silver platter. Bringing you back will be quite the accomplishment. That they were practically giddy, a 100,000-year-old soul beast in human form. And she was right there. They eyed Xiao Wu leisurely, completely ignoring Tang San's murderous glare. To title Douluo, a soul emperor? A soul king? Insignificant, and there was a soul sect too. Over by the tree stump? Whatever, an ant to be squashed without a second thought. At this point, Yi Ming's defenses had completely crumbled. He squinted, recognizing snake spear and thorny porpoise Douluo. A wave of despair washed over him. He'd rushed here, saved Xiao Wu, only to be cornered by 2 title Douluo. Ah! He sighed inwardly, closed his eyes, and stayed still. He could manage to take out a few soul saints, or even a soul Douluo if he pulled out all the stops. But 2 title Douluo? Hopeless, they were trapped. Tang San, however, wasn't giving up. Activating both his domains to their fullest extent, he unleashed his strongest attack. 5th soul skill, Blue-Silver Overlord Spear. A blue-silver spear materialized, rocketing towards Snake Spear Douluo. Snake Spear merely summoned his martial soul, the Snake Spear, and with a casual flick, shattered Tang San's blue-silver Overlord Spear. A bug trying to topple a tree is pathetic. Snake Spear sneered, his first 100-year soul ring glowing. He swung his spear, sending out a blade of pure energy that tore through the air and slammed into Tang San's chest. The gap between levels of title Douluo was a canyon. Tang San's talent, his hidden weapons, were useless against such overwhelming power. 1 blow was all it took. His trump cards, his hidden techniques, were meaningless in the face of such a disparity. Brother! Xiao Wu screamed, her eyes bloodshot. Tang San looked down at the hole in his chest, his pupils dilating. He turned weakly to Xiao Wu, forcing a smile, as blood poured from his mouth. Sis, Tur. I love. The words choked on the blood. Third brother. Tears streamed down Xiao Wu's face as she clutched Tang San's hand, her voice raw with grief. An ear-splitting wail ripped from Xiao Wu's throat, shaking the very foundations of the Star Do Great Forest. A blinding red light exploded from her brow, spreading outwards in a crimson halo. Yi Ming watched the red light, a heavy sigh escaping his lips. Things never go according to plan. She was sacrificing herself. Wherever the light touched, everything turned crimson, frozen in time. Meanwhile, far away, the Titan giant ape and sky blue bull python convulsed, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Yu Guan and Gui Mei's martial soul fusion technique shattered. They crashed to the ground, groaning, ignored by the Titan giant ape and sky blue bull python who were already racing towards the source of Xiao Wu's sacrifice. Deep within the Star Do Great Forest, beyond even the core, lay a place called the Great Evil Land. As the red light spread, even the overlords of this area frowned. That rabbit is a disgrace to all soul beasts. Just like the blue-silver emperor before, a traitor to our kind. If my attempt to break through to the god level hadn't backfired, I would have purged these traitors myself. That, as the overlords argued, a soul beast with golden fur, a translucent crystal body that seemed to shimmer, slipped out of the great evil land. It resembled a lion, but with 4 dragon-like claws, each resting on a ball of golden flame. Within the red light, everything was frozen, including the 2 title Douluo. Only Xiao Wu, at the center of it all, could move. Her body had turned a crystalline red, her clothes reduced to ash. No one could see her. The red light had stilled time and consciousness itself. She looked at Tang San, her eyes filled with love, and gently placed her hand on his chest. Flesh and blood bloomed, knitting together the shattered heart. A red flame ignited from Xiao Wu's body, a blood flame fueled by her life force and 100,000 years of cultivation. The flame grew, consuming her. Slowly, Xiao Wu began to fade. The red light coalesced into a ring, contracting around her and Tang San. As Xiao Wu's body disappeared, awareness began to return to the others. Snake Spear and Thorny Porpoise Douluo watched in horror, regretting their hesitation. They should have acted immediately, capturing the 100,000-year-old soft bone rabbit before anything else. Yi Ming saw 2 massive figures emerge from the forest. He opened his eyes, looking at Tang San and Xiao Wu. Grief, regret, and admiration flickered within him. Tang San's heart began to beat once more. He opened his eyes to a scene that shattered him. He tried to stop her, but his body was paralyzed. At the edge of the red light, the Titan giant ape roared, unleashing a shockwave that flattened the surrounding forest. The azure bull python gazed at Xiao Wu, his voice soft with sorrow. Xiao Wu, was it worth it? Xiao Wu turned, her gentle smile answering them. It was worth it. She burned every memory of her and Tang San into their minds. Xiao Wu's body faded completely, and 5 soul rings materialized around Tang San. A 6th, a blood-red 100,000-year soul ring, slowly formed. A crimson glow bathed his left arm, the soul bone's energy flashing briefly. At that moment, as the last vestiges of red light vanished, they condensed into a white rabbit and a single red flower. Xiao Wu's original form, the soft bone rabbit, and the immortal herb, acacia heartbroken red. The light that had held them captive dissolved, and Tang San roared at the heavens. Xiao Wu. Chapter 47 Meng Shu, dies. More updates to come. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The same roar erupted from the Ming and Ming as they charged at the 2 title Douluo. Humans, you'll pay for this. Ming, take them down. Snake Spear and Acorn Fish were terrified at the sight of the 200,000-year soul beast overlords. The overlords were enraged, pouring soul power into a desperate escape. With the rabbit now sacrificed, they stood no chance against these beasts. Forgetting all about Yuiguan and Ghost, Snake Spear and Porpoise Douluo bailed out in perfect sync. After the Ming and Ming gave chase, Yi Ming stood and walked over to Tang San. Tang San was cradling Xiao Wu's rabbit form, heartbroken. His eyes were bloodshot and vacant, like he was in a daze. With the deed done, Yi Ming scrambled for a solution. After a moment, he regained his composure and asked softly, "You want revenge, right? And you want to bring Xiao Wu back?" Tang San remained unresponsive, lost in his grief. Smack. Yi Ming slapped Tang San across the face, leaving a red mark. Tang San snapped out of it and glared at Yi Ming, his face full of anger. "I'm asking, do you want to resurrect Xiao Wu?" Yi Ming repeated. "Resurrection?" Tang San's eyes lit up with hope. "Can Xiao Wu really be brought back? Tell me how." Title Douluo level strength, a 10,000-year 9th grade ginseng king, an ancient spiritual beast's inner elixir, and holy soul grass. Plus, all 9 of your soul rings offered to Xiao Wu. After explaining the requirements, Ming patted Tang San on the shoulder. Third brother, you don't want Xiao Wu to be a rabbit forever, do you? How long it takes to bring her back depends on how hard you work. Double-check with Titan Ape and Azure Bull Python. I only heard about the resurrection ingredients from the sect's secret texts. Tang San rose, clutching the rabbit, and bowed to Ming, filled with gratitude. Thank you, bro. If you ever need anything from me, just say the word. Ming waved it off. We're brothers. Don't mention it. I'm not exactly chummy with the Beast Kings, so to avoid any misunderstandings, I'll head out now. I'm leaving the sect to travel the mainland for a bit. Once you've sorted things out, meet me at Shrek Academy. I'll find you there. With that, Ming turned and walked away. Once he was out of sight, he sighed to himself, hope this pep talk lights a fire under Tang San's butt and speeds up Xiao Wu's resurrection, but just in case, I need a backup plan, Xiao Wu's soul ring and soul bone are nice to have, but raw power is the real game changer, First, let's see if I can snag a decent soul beast and add a fifth soul ring. After Ming left, Tang San stayed put, stroking Xiao Wu as she munched on the acacia heartbroken red's petals. Xiao Wu, it's okay. I promise to bring you back. As Xiao Wu finished the flower, a surge of life force rivaling 100,000-year soul beast emanated from her. It seeped into her and vanished. Tang San smiled. Tang Yiming was right. He didn't lie. Suddenly, an old man with a dragon-headed staff hobbled over. It was Long Gong Meng Shu, still hunting down his granddaughter's killer. He saw Tang San holding a rabbit and recognized something. The handsome guy, Clear Sky Sect disciple, Clear Sky Hammer Martial Soul, Strange Soul Rings, Twin Martial Souls. Meng Shu mumbled, it is you. You're the one who murdered my granddaughter. Prepare to die. 2 yellow, 3 purple, and 3 black soul rings blazed as he charged towards Tang San, dragon staff raised. Sensing the approaching danger, Tang San turned and saw Meng Shu, eyes wild with rage, barreling towards him. He knew Meng Shu as Meng Yiran's grandfather, but Meng Shu was consumed by grief and hellbent on revenge. Besides, Tang San's appearance had changed drastically after absorbing the Blue's Silver Emperor energy and his 5th soul ring. Meng Shu didn't recognize him at all. Seeing his target fleeing, he swung the dragon staff, and his 6th black 10,000-year soul ring lit up. The 6th soul skill, Azure Dragon ascends. A colossal green dragon roared from his dragon staff and hurtled towards Tang San. If hit, Tang San could block with the soul bone skill Xiao Wu gave him, becoming invulnerable, but Xiao Wu would be injured for sure. Roar! A deafening roar echoed through the forest as the Titan giant ape appeared, shielding Tang San. The green dragon slammed into it, barely ruffling its black fur. Human! Human! Damn human! You dare try to hurt Xiao Wu! You deserve to die. A snake-bodied, bull-headed behemoth plummeted from the sky, whipping its tail with a sonic boom towards Meng Shu. Xiao Wu's sacrifice had enraged Ming. He and Ming had just fought off 2 tidal Douluo, but they escaped. His rage now needed a target. Meng Shu stood no chance against the furious assault. Bang! Meng Shu didn't even scream as he was obliterated. Tang San was about to speak, but the crimson rage in the sky blue bull python's eyes stopped him. The sky blue bull python glanced at Tang San and flew towards the mirror lake. Ming, bring this kid and Xiao Wu back. I need to know what he gave Xiao Wu. Roar! Ming replied, gently grabbing Tang San and Xiao Wu. Following Ming, Ming didn't leave the core area. He needed a soul ring of about 70,000 years for his 5th soul ring to reach the Soul King level. Soul beasts like that were rare, even in the Star Do Great Forest. The core area was the best bet, but a huge battle had just happened, and the aura of Ming and Ming was still strong. After a long search, he hadn't seen a single soul beast. Ming wasn't discouraged. Finding soul beasts took time. He used the opportunity to improve his goo insects. Just as he was looking for a place to rest, he heard a strange, high-pitched cry. It sounded like a dragon or lion, both light and urgent, and instantly caught Ming's attention. Chapter 48, Evil Tiger, Terror Claw Bear, Three-Eyed Golden Lion. Please, please, please chase me. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Ming quietly activated his hidden scale goo, cloaking himself in stealth as he approached the sounds. Pushing past several large trees, a clearing suddenly opened up before him. Not far off, a tiger, a bear, and a crystal-bodied, three-eyed lion cub were locked in a tense standoff. Ming's heart leaped. Memories flooded his mind, coalescing into a clearer picture. The bear was an old acquaintance. Its massive frame suggested it had only recently achieved the 10,000-year dark gold terraclaw bear level. The three-eyed lion cub, sheltered behind the bear, possessed golden fur and a translucent, crystal-like body with an odd texture. Though leonine in appearance, its four paws resembled dragon claws, each resting on a ball of golden flame. Its muzzle was longer than a typical lion's soul beast, and fine golden scales seemed to lie beneath its fur. In addition to its normal eyes, it had a third, vertical pupil. The two standard eyes shone with gold, while the vertical pupil pulsed with an eerie red light. Auspicious beast, a three-eyed golden lion. Ming's thoughts raced. Isn't that a creature from the Douluo continent? The three-eyed golden lion was unique. It was an ancient auspicious beast born with an intelligence rivaling humans. In its habitat, all soul beasts experienced double the growth rate, and the odds of any 100,000-year soul beast breaking through a bottleneck doubled as well. In the soul beast world, it was revered, a saint, a princess. Virtually no soul beast would ever harm it, except for the occasional evil soul beast, like the tiger facing it, the dark fiend evil god tiger. Legend had it that the dark fiend evil god tiger carried the essence of the evil god's most corrupt attributes and possessed a nature of absolute dominance. It didn't develop through normal cultivation. That path was arduous. It advanced rapidly only by devouring the soul power of other soul beasts or human soul masters. Because its cultivation relied on consumption rather than training, it immediately drew the ire of every soul beast around, all of whom sought to destroy it before it became too powerful. Such a depraved creature wouldn't show respect to an auspicious beast, it only wanted to devour it and advance its own cultivation. Ming pieced it together. The plot of Douluo 2 starts in 10,000 years. Soul beasts are long-lived, so some could survive that long. This three-eyed golden lion is close to 5,000 years old. Add 10,000 years, that's 15,000. It fits. Whoa, he inhaled sharply. That meant Ming and Ming weren't the top dogs in the Star Do Great Forest. The true rulers still lurked in that dangerous zone. Emperor Tian, Biji, Xiong Jun, Qi Wang. Understanding dawned, and Ming's pulse quickened. He gazed at the three-eyed golden lion, a strange light in his eyes. Compared to the overlords in that deadly place, what was a mere 100,000-year soul ring? An insane, audacious plan began to take shape. High risk, high reward. Fortune favors the bold. Stealthily, Ming watched the drama unfold. The dark fiend evil god tiger's eyes were locked on the three-eyed golden lion, a predatory hunger burning within. The tiger was pitch black, without a trace of other colors, its red eyes filled with a sinister aura. It stretched over 8 meters long, its muscles bulging, likely weighing over 3,000 kilograms. The king marking on its forehead was also black, but a smoky black unlike its fur. Its tail was the strangest part. Far longer than a normal tiger's, it stood erect, composed of countless joints, and ending in a massive, gleaming barb. It circled the dark gold terraclaw bear and the three-eyed golden lion, poised to strike. Instinct screamed that devouring the three-eyed golden lion would elevate it greatly, perhaps even trigger a quantum leap. The dark fiend evil god tiger roared, unleashing dozens of black and red light blades at the dark gold terraclaw bear. The blades were formed from wind and evil energies, their cutting power amplified by the corrosive nature of the evil attribute. They were devastating. Roar! The dark gold terraclaw bear roared back, crossing its arms, the dark gold arm guards deflecting the oncoming light blades. Any that slipped past, it smashed with its body, determined to shield the three-eyed golden lion. Though the dark gold terraclaw bear had just reached the 10,000-year mark, it fought fiercely. But the Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger possessed the power of the Evil God and was capable of fighting beings far more powerful. It was at least 60,000 years old, its combat power rivaling that of a 100,000-year soul beast. It fixed the dark gold Terraclaw bear and the three-eyed golden lion with a taunting gaze. Swish! In a blur of motion, it appeared directly in front of the dark gold Terraclaw bear, slamming it to the ground with a swipe of its paw. The Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger was unique in the Soul Beast world, wielding the 6 attributes of evil: time, space, lightning, power, and wind. It possessed terrifying skills. That near teleportation had been the wind attribute skill Direct Rush. With the dark gold Terraclaw bear downed, the gleaming barb on its tail shot toward the three-eyed golden lion. Roar! The dark gold Terraclaw bear roared, dark gold claw blades flashing as it batted the barb away. Ignoring its injuries, it surged forward, desperate to push the Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger back. Ho! Leave! Tears welled in the three-eyed golden lion's crystalline eyes. It shook its head, refusing to abandon its protector. Ah! It cried softly, and its third eye blazed with pure white crystal light, engulfing the dark gold Terraclaw bear. Despite only 5,000 years of cultivation, it carried the power of destiny for all the soul beasts. Its soul skill was truly special. The dark gold Terraclaw bear used the crystal light to withstand the Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger's attacks, then launched a counterattack with its dark gold Terraclaws. Ouch! The Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger howled in pain, unleashing a burst of power that sent the dark gold Terraclaw bear flying. The Evil God Hook transformed into an Evil God Thorn, and a black light erupted between the tiger and the bear. The intense light exploded into a 3-meter-wide black hole. The black hole pulled the dark gold Terraclaw bear, tearing apart the crystal light, and sucked it in. Hiss! The three-eyed golden lion cried out, its third eye firing a soul impact at the Dark Fiend Evil God Tiger. The Evil God Tiger's head reeled. It briefly lost consciousness, and was sucked into the black hole as well. Wow! The three-eyed golden lion spat blood, its breath shallow, and collapsed. That was when Ming sprang from the undergrowth, raising his hand to hurl a goo insect at the three-eyed golden lion. Level 3 Beast Taming Goo. Go! Let's go for round 2. Chapter 49 Control, Three-Eyed Golden Lion. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The beast control goo shot from Ming's hand, turning into a wisp of smoke and engulfing the three-eyed golden lion. Ack! The lion roared in pain, thrashing on the ground. Sensing the lion's resistance, Ming unleashed all 100 of his souls to suppress it. Enslaving this lion would be a huge step toward completing his plan. Ack! 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 The three-eyed golden lion writhed, tears streaming from its eyes. It had just fortified the dark gold claw bear's defenses, but the black hole shattered them, causing a backlash that damaged its soul. To protect the bear, it had used its trump card, countering the backlash with a soul shock aimed at the dark demon Evil God Tiger. Now, with its soul weakened, Ming had seized the opportunity. The beast control goo's smoke had completely infiltrated its body, burrowing into its mind. Losing this battle for its soul meant complete enslavement. The third turn beast taming goo was already powerful, and combined with Ming's 100 souls, it was steadily crushing the three-eyed golden lion's spiritual strength. It hurts. It hurts so bad. A clear voice echoed in Ming's mind, the lion's cry. As a creature blessed by fate, even with only 5,000 years of cultivation, it could speak human languages. Seeing this, Ming showed no mercy, pressing his soul power to break the three-eyed golden lion. After the dark gold Terraclaw bear and the dark demon Evil God Tiger were pulled into the black hole, they found themselves in a bizarre space. It was a vast, circular arena, lit only by the arena floor itself. Leaving everything else in darkness, the dark gold Terraclaw bear, usually standing at a towering 5 meters, had shrunk into a cub, barely a meter tall. Across from it, the once dominant dark demon Evil God Tiger was now a 2-meter-long black tiger cub. The dark demon Evil God Tiger was horrified to see his body shrink. His power was meant to revert his opponent to a juvenile state, while he fought as an adult. Remembering the three-eyed golden lion's soul attack, the tiger suddenly understood. The spirit attack had caused the skill to backfire. Welcome to the arena of life and death. Only the death of one participant can end this battle and allow the survivor to leave. Countdown, 5, 4, 1, begin. That the dark demon evil god tiger sprang into action, targeting the dark gold terror claw bear, who was still adjusting to its new size. Even smaller, it still controlled the wind attribute, which made him faster than the dark gold terror claw bear. Ow-ho! A low growl escaped the tiger, and gray energy rose from its body, swirling into a vortex in front of it. With little energy left, the dark demon evil god tiger was forced to condense a dark demon evil thunder. Buzz! The evil thunder shot forward, detonating in front of the little dark gold terror claw bear. At the last moment, the bear swung a razor claw to deflect the attack. Even so, the blast threw it backward. Its dark golden fur was singed black. This was a fight to the death. The little dark gold terror claw bear roared and charged the dark demon evil god tiger. Back in the woods, sweat beaded on Ming's forehead, but he didn't dare wipe it away. This was the final, most critical stage. Submit, he whispered, his 100 souls trembling, finally overwhelming the three-eyed golden lion. Ha ha ha. I did it. Ming stared at the three-eyed golden lion now cowering obediently at his feet and threw his head back, laughing. Beast taming goo. Incredible, he knelt and stroked the lion's head. It nuzzled him like a docile kitten. The beast taming goo controlled the lion without harming its soul. It had burned an indelible mark into its mind. One purpose, its master was supreme. The master's orders were law. The three-eyed golden lion was still itself, but now it belonged to Ming. Even if Ming ordered its sacrifice, the lion wouldn't hesitate. But he had bigger plans. He wouldn't kill the golden goose. For Ming, the three-eyed golden lion was the biggest prize since he had entered Douluo continent. With this, his plan was mostly complete. The moment he controlled the three-eyed golden lion with the goo, he had accessed all the lion's knowledge of the great land of evil. Just as he suspected, Tian and the other overlords were there, deep within the Xingdo Great Forest. My strength is still too far behind those guys. I need to seize every advantage I can get. After a moment's thought, Ming ordered the three-eyed golden lion to wait for him in the nearby woods. He returned to the spot where the dark demon evil god tiger and the dark gold terror claw bear had been sucked into the black hole. In that arena of life and death, only one can survive. Whether it's the 10,000-year-old dark gold terror claw bear or the 60,000-year-old dark demon evil god tiger, there would be a good choice for my fifth soul ring. The moon goo behind Ming's head began to glow, and a half-foot-long moon blade started gathering power in his hand. He watched the space in front of him, muttering, now it's just a matter of who comes out alive. While the clear sky hammer's attack was strong, the moon blade was still the best for breaking defenses. Ming's true essence activated the heavenly Yuan treasure lotus, continuously channeling snow silver true essence into the dark blue moon blade in his hand. Time passed, and the blade, overloaded with true essence, began to turn silver white. He could feel himself starting to lose control. Buzz! The black hole reappeared. A bloodied and battered dark demon evil god tiger staggered out. As soon as it emerged, its body, previously only a meter long, instantly grew back to 8 meters, and its lost energy surged back. Ow-ho! The tiger roared triumphantly. It had survived. Now it could devour the lucky beast and reach the pinnacle of tiger life. Swish! A condensed silver-white light flashed, and the tiger's head flew away, twirling in the air before landing on the ground. The headless tiger body crashed to the ground, blood gushing from its neck. The dark demon evil god tiger's head saw its body fall. Beside it, the three-eyed golden lion it had coveted stood beside a human, watching indifferently. Unwillingness filled the dark demon evil god tiger's eyes until its last breath. What are you yelling about? Think you're so tough? Shoot! Ming walked to the dark demon evil god tiger's corpse, staring intently. He knew there was a magical bead inside. Swish! A completely black bead, glowing with green and blue light, shot from the dark demon evil god tiger's head. Chapter 50 Old Man, I wonder if you like this gift I brought you this time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At that moment, a jet black bead, shimmering with green and blue light, shot out of the dark demon evil god tiger's head. The bead moved incredibly fast, and even with Yi Ming's reflexes, he barely grazed it with his fingertips. Just as he was about to grab it, a nearby black hole suddenly sucked the bead in, then vanished completely. Watching it disappear, Yi Ming sighed, "Oh well, Zhou Weiqing got lucky." Unbothered by the loss, Yi Ming turned his attention to the dark demon evil god tiger. The gray energy swirling around its body steadily darkened, solidifying into a black 10,000-year soul ring. Jin and I, guard me. Chase away any soul beasts that get too close. Yi Ming gave the order, then used his wind ear gu to listen for any nearby threats. Once he was sure the area was clear, he summoned his clear sky hammer martial spirit and gently tapped the black soul ring. In a flash of light, the soul ring attached itself to the clear sky hammer, and an intense wave of icy energy flooded into Yi Ming's body. It was filled with resentment, malice, and a desperate unwillingness to fade. Humph! With a cold snort, Yi Ming channeled his soul power to suppress these emotions, while his yuan energy trapped and devoured any lingering traces. The dark demon evil god tiger spirit then manifested in his mind, attempting to tear his soul apart. Yi Ming's 100 souls shook violently, shattering the spirit into nothing. After what felt like an eternity, the soul ring was finally absorbed. 5 menacing soul rings, purple, purple, black, 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 now circled him. To Yi Ming's surprise, the 60,000-year-old dark demon evil god tiger's soul power was immense. The successful absorption of the soul ring had provided a huge boost. He'd already used the silver relic gu 3 times, his soul power close to overflowing. Now, the 60,000-year soul ring pushed him right to the edge of level 60. Ding ding! Before Yi Ming could process what was happening, his reincarnation watch chimed with a notification. He tapped it to check. 1. Become an inner disciple of Haotian's sect. Reward ordinary talent, random, reward 20 yuanshi. Completed. 2. Reach Soul King, reward rare talent, random, reward 100 yuanshi. Completed. 3. Become the leader of Haotian sect, reward epic talent, random, reward 2000 yuanshi. 4. Reach title Douluo, reward legendary talent, random, reward 10,000 yuanshi. 5. Ascend to godhood, reward mythical talent, random, reward 100,000 yuanshi. Note, only the highest level task rewards will be issued. The basic task has been completed, and you can choose to settle the task and leave the current world. Since he still had plenty of time, he wasn't about to leave just yet. Whoa! He suddenly felt a warm sensation near his tailbone, as if something was bursting from his spine. Surprised, he twisted to look behind him. A bony tail, made of interlocking joints, protruded just above his rear. The tip was a massive barb, glinting menacingly. On closer inspection, the tail looked exactly like the one from the dark demon evil god tiger he'd just killed. Master, what kind of soul beast are you turning into? The three-eyed golden lion, now curious, trotted behind him, staring at the tail with wide, crystalline eyes. Yi Ming was speechless, slightly embarrassed. He retracted the tail and quickly grabbed a long robe from his storage space, wrapping it around his waist to hide the alteration. Ahem. Don't worry about it. Yi Ming cleared his throat, resuming his usual composed demeanor. He looked again and noticed that the dark demon evil god tiger's body had dissolved into motes of light and disappeared. He knew instantly, he'd gained an external soul bone. And this tail came with the dark demon evil god tiger's signature skill, the evil god thorn. It could pierce defenses, summon black holes, revert people to younger forms, and drag them into a battle of life and death. Nice, he thought. A welcome surprise. The massive gains from this encounter had eased the sting of Xiao Wu's sacrifice. In fact, this haul was comparable to absorbing a 100,000-year soul ring. Absorb a 60,000-year dark demon evil god tiger soul ring. Obtain a 60,000-year external soul bone. Tame the three-eyed golden lion. Complete the initial stage of his plan with Tang San. Yi Ming mused that this trip outside the Haotian sect had been incredibly fruitful. But, there's still more to take from the Haotian sect. Yi Ming glanced at the three-eyed golden lion, who was still staring at his but with unabated curiosity. He sighed, he grabbed the three-eyed golden lion by the scruff of its neck, lifting it like a kitten. You snuck out this time. How long do you think it will be before your father notices? That the three-eyed golden lion wiggled its little legs and replied promptly, I bet they already know. I snuck out a few times before, and Uncle Red King always caught me in less than a day. Yi Ming's eyes narrowed. That doesn't give us much time. That he channeled his snow-white true energy, and a thumb-sized poisonous insect emerged from his soul aperture. As soon as it was free, the goo worm rapidly grew into a large bone bird with an 8-meter wingspan. It was one of the 3 level 4 goo worms he had acquired previously, the legless bird. Yi Ming plopped the three-eyed golden lion onto the legless bird's broad back and shot into the sky. Master, where are we going? If I stay away from the star forest for too long, my dad and the others won't be able to sense me, and they'll come looking. The three-eyed golden lion asked, perched on the legless bird. That's exactly what we want. Yi Ming chuckled, urging the legless bird to fly madly toward the Haotian sect. The silver true essence surged, and the Tian Yuan Baoyan frantically generated more, further increasing the legless bird's speed. He looked in the direction of the Haotian sect and whispered, Old man, I wonder if you'll like this little gift I'm bringing you. Meanwhile, in the great star forest, beside the lake of life, a handsome man in his 40s with a determined expression and a strand of blonde hair stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Behind him, a woman in an emerald green dress stood quietly. A little further away, people of varying shapes and sizes were gathered. The woman said softly, Di Tian, this is Xiao Wu's choice. Should we really interfere? Di Tian shook his head. By G, we didn't intervene when the Blue-Silver Emperor made her choice 20 years ago, and now this has happened again. If this keeps up, the Soul Beast clan might forget their original purpose. I'm protecting the Soul Beasts in the Star Doe Forest, and I don't interfere with their choices, but that doesn't mean they can betray our kind. Bai Ji was about to respond, but Di Tian frowned, and a terrifying aura emanated from him. How dare they? Touching little Genio. His hair stood on end, and a hint of fury crossed his face. These humans deserve to die. Haotian sect. Tang Xiao. King of 10,000 demons, Red King, and Mr. Xiong, go rescue the little princess. Kill anyone who gets in your way. Just a heads up, I'll be posting updates in the morning at 10 o'clock from now on. I was worried the evening posts might be disruptive. Thanks for all the support.